And after a year, I decided to come. Dad had gone off to Washington and then to work at the Exim Bank.
Right, Exim
Bank. And then he had gone to New York to run the UN Development Program. And so he had this SBIC, a small business investment company that he had set up. And it was valued at about $2 million. I'm not sure it ended up being worth $2 million, but it was valued at $2 million.
After you took over, I think at least we got something out of it.
But I was able to borrow.
Business. It was just a small family.
So I was able to borrow $6 million against that from the federal government. And I remember going to Washington and talking to Marvin Clapp, who ran the SBIC program. I think he ran it alone at that time, or he was maybe one of 2 or 3 people who ran this program.
Right.
Now there are 600 people, and they run roughly the same number of SBICs as Marvin Clapp did all by himself.
The commentary on our times with government.
But, yeah, a little comment there. But I remember going to Marvin, and he's going through the checklist, and he says, so you need 10 years of investment experience. And I said, oh, perfect. I've been investing since I was 10. And he goes, check. And so I took over the SBIC. I borrowed that $6 million, and I put it to work. And about 3 years later, Dad loves to tell this story, it looked really bad. Bunch of companies had gone out of business. Things were not great. And then the IPO window opened up, and I suddenly had 5 IPOs, and one was Parametric Technology. And by the way, the SBIC program had come to me 3 years in, and they'd come to me and said, "You're on our watch list." And I said, "What's that?" And they said, "Well, you've already dropped below some of our ratios." And I said, "Oh. Okay, what does that mean?" "Well, nothing right now." And then they called me back about 3 months later and said, "Now you're on our dirt list, and we're going to call the loan." And I went back to Washington, and I said, "You can't call this loan. There's some good stuff in here," whatever. Anyway, so I was on their dirt list, and they agreed not to call the loan. And then all these companies started to go public, and Parametric really took off. And I went from their dirt list to on the wall, Venture Capitalist of the Year, SBIC Venture Capitalist of the Year, and my picture was there. And so, you know, your fortunes can go up and down and up and down. Anyway, that was the beginning. And then I brought on some partners who were way smarter than I am. John Fisher, Steve Jurvetson, Andreas Stravopoulos, Jennifer Fonstad. They all made a big impact, and we built a really incredible venture firm. And we were really at the total top of our game about in 2000 well, certainly in 1999.
All of us were at the top of the game in '99.
But in 2004, we had Skype and Baidu, and no one else had anything. And so we were sort of at the top there.